during the years in which we were involved in a law case. Many of you know about that. Anyway, there was a watch we were given by Mrs. Evans, and it was this: God's law of divine justice is in full and complete operation. The wicked shall not go unpunished. We worked with that for some time during these days, which were sometimes difficult times. And I remember at that time I'd been taught in Christian Science to be very loving, and that watch was had a little different spin to it, shall I say. And I had to learn, in Mrs. Eddy's works, it was read tonight that the intentional destroyer of others would destroy himself eternally, were it not that his suffering reforms him, thus balancing his account with divine love, which never remits the sentence necessary to reclaim the sinner. And in Science and Health, Mrs. Eddy says, to cause suffering as the result of sin is the means of destroying sin. Every supposed pleasure in sin will furnish more than its equivalent of pain until belief in material life and sin is destroyed. Now these are laws of the universe. If a person sins, he will suffer for it until he stops sinning. And that is the design of love, Mrs. Eddy says. It's love that would call the sinner out of his sinning belief. And this is what heals and blesses. And it must be so. And so I learned tremendous lessons. And I also learned in Christian Science, and it was read tonight. Christian scientists, they don't believe that there's some fiery hell that people go to, but that people make their own hell by disobeying God, by not obeying the Sermon on the Mount, by hating their brother, or whatever else. That creates their own hell. Or they create their own heaven by obeying God's commands and living within His precepts. And what a wonderful life that is. So I'm very grateful for these readings. And today, when there seems to be so much unrest, and yes, sinning going on perhaps, we will know that the sinner, and only God knows who that is, that they will learn to cease sinning, and they will be punished for it, because that, as I said, is the law of the universe until they stop. And this is very comforting to know this and to apply this truth. It was comforting to us during those law years, those law case years, and as you know, we were victorious in that battle. And so it is. We can rely on God to lead us through sometimes the deepest waters, trusting Him. His divine law of justice is in complete and full operation. I'm so grateful to have learned this in this church. Thank you all for being here, and God bless you all.